This video contains information about sexual assault and sexual violence, which may be upsetting and triggering to survivors. If you feel triggered and would like support, please contact OASIS or the Counseling Center. The Biennial Survey on Sexual Violence, Dating Violence, and Bystander Behavior has been conducted every other spring since 2011.
It was developed and conducted by an AU professor in the School of Public Affairs, Dr. Jane Palmer, and has been affectionately called the Palmer Survey. The SAWG Assessment Subcommittee refines, administers, and assesses the survey.
SAWG, the Sexual Assault Working Group, is chaired by Assistant VP of Campus Life and Dean of Students, Rob Hratsky, and has been shaping the AU sexual violence intervention and prevention strategies since 2009. SAWG has 5 subcommittees: Advocacy and Support, Assessment, Campus Awareness and Education, Communications, and Policies and Procedures.
In 2017, the Palmer Survey was sent out to 3,000 undergraduates, and the response rate was 55%. Questions on the survey ask about experiences with sexual assault, harassment, intimate partner violence, and bystander intervention.
Included in the random sample are the perspectives of AU students reflective of different student voices, communities, and experiences. While broadly representative of the population, the sample doesn't necessarily reflect the AU community. Of the 796 undergraduates that participated in the survey, 25% were freshmen, 23% were sophomores, 23% were juniors, and 29% were seniors.
67% of the respondents identified as women, 31% identified as men, and 1.4% identified as non-binary, gender non-conforming, or genderqueer.
With regard to race and ethnicity, respondents were able to check all that apply. Therefore, responses combined to be larger than 100%, as some people selected more than one racial or ethnic identity. 72% identified as white, 13% identified as Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin, 9% as Black, African American, African, or Afro-Caribbean, 7% as East Asian, 6% as South Asian, 3% as Middle Eastern, 2% as American Indian or Alaska Native, and 2% identified as other. About half of the respondents said they lived on campus, and the other half said they lived off campus.
73% of the respondents considered themselves straight, 18% identified as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or queer, and 2% identified as asexual.
Now that we've told you about who took the survey, here are the numbers about the respondents' experiences with sexual violence.
33% of the survey respondents identified unwanted sexual activity in their lifetime. 18% of the respondents experienced unwanted sexual activity since enrolling at AU. The numbers show that some students come to AU as survivors, and some students experience unwanted sexual activity since they enrolled at AU.
Nationally, trans and gender nonconforming students experience higher rates of sexual violence compared to their cisgender female or male peers. While the numbers are small, AU respondents who identified as non-binary, gender nonconforming, transgender, or genderqueer reported higher rates of unwanted sexual activity, which aligns with the national trends.
The Palmer Survey asks specifically about 3 types of unwanted sexual activities. Pressure, which is unwanted sexual activity with someone because the other person threatened to end the relationship or felt pressured by the person's arguments or begging. Incapacitation, which is unwanted sexual activity with someone while unable to provide consent or stop what was happening because of being passed out, drugged, drunk, incapacitated, or asleep. Force, which is unwanted sexual activity because the other person threatened to use or used physical force, i.e., twisting an arm or holding the other person down.
Of the 3 types of unwanted sexual activity, pressure was selected by the most respondents, followed by incapacitation, and force was selected by the least respondents.
Of those respondents who reported unwanted sexual activity since the beginning of the fall semester, the majority of each type, pressure, incapacitation, and force, occurred off campus.
Of the respondents who reported unwanted sexual activities since the beginning of the fall semester, about half of the reported perpetrators were affiliated with AU, and about half were not affiliated with AU.
In addition to unwanted sexual activity, the Palmer survey also asks respondents about their experiences with sexual harassment and dating violence.
Since the beginning of the fall semester, 22% of the respondents indicated that someone had repeatedly asked them out or asked them to hook up, even after the respondent said no.
Questions about dating violence were asked only if respondents reported having or previously having a romantic or sexual partner. 81% of the respondents said yes.
Of these respondents, 56% reported being emotionally or physically hurt by a current or former partner.
Of these respondents who have had a romantic or sexual partner, 59% of the respondents who identified as non-heterosexual have experienced at least one form of intimate partner violence, and 55% of the respondents who identified as heterosexual have experienced at least one form of intimate partner violence.
OASIS, the Office of Advocacy Services for Interpersonal and Sexual Violence, is housed in the Wellness Center, located in Hughes Hall, Suite 105, and has 2 victim advocates. The advocates provide free and confidential support for survivors and friends of survivors of sexual violence, dating violence, stalking, harassment, and sexual exploitation. OASIS is open Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and is appointment-based. Email oasis@american.edu or call 202-885-7070 to set up your appointment. Title IX protects university members against sex and gender-based discrimination, including sexual misconduct, commonly referred to as sexual assault or rape, dating or intimate partner violence, stalking, and sexual exploitation. The Title IX office, located in Butler Pavilion, Suite 400, is available to answer any questions, including those related to policy, complaint process, available resources, reporting options, and safety measures. Additionally, if you experience any form of sex or gender-based discrimination, you can make a report to the Title IX office. We will contact you, discuss your options and rights, and can investigate whether university policies were violated. The Title IX office is open Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and is appointment-based. Title IX's email is title9@american.edu, or you can call 202-885-3439 to set up your appointment.